our YouTube viewers. This is my first YouTube live, and I am Minister Howard, and I'm on YouTube live because I have something to tell the people. Based off of relationships, this is about relationships, people. All right, and I want to talk about relationship status because a lot of people are saying now that they're looking for relationships. They're looking for a good man, all right, or they're looking for a good woman. And a lot of times, relationships, some people would use Boaz as their status. And this is not specifically targeting anybody. It's just, to let you know the type of person that Boaz was. In the book of Ruth, in the chapter, Boaz did not appear in the first chapter. It was all about Ruth at the first beginning. Ruth was a woman who was married to Naomi's son. Alright? She was a woman who committed herself to follow Naomi after after Naomi's husband's sons died. Now, this is the story about Ruth, not about Boaz. Boaz don't come in until later on in the chapter. But Ruth was a woman who has faithfulness into following her mother-in-law, which was Naomi, back to her homeland to get there safe because Naomi's were very old and she could not travel alone. So there was two of Naomi's daughters, all right, and they were daughters to her because they were married to her son, so they were daughter-in-laws. And the one daughter went back to her hometown because Naomi told him that if you follow me, there's a chance that if you go where I go, you may never be married. All right? Sorry. You may never be married. So, as you progress in the chapter, you see that the one daughter-in-law went back to her native land because she wanted a better chance to be married to someone. She wanted to be with a husband. She wanted to be someone's wife. Okay? But Naomi took a leap of faith and told these women that. She took a leap of faith. She was committed to the things that the promises of God. I'm sorry, not Naomi. Ruth was. Ruth told Naomi that I will follow you wherever you may go. She took a leap of faith and followed her mother-in-law back to her hometown. Okay? She followed her mother-in-law back to her hometown. After hearing that she may never find a husband. Okay? And ladies, I need you to listen to this because this is specifically the same thing that most young girls or most generation now are speaking. They want a man like Boaz. Okay? To get to Boaz, you have to understand who you are first. You have to be a woman willing to endure all the things by yourself to be able to get to a point, to get to a man that will love you and respect you. You have to respect it first. Respect yourself first. Okay? Ladies, respect yourself first. All right? Now we see Ruth, who followed Naomi, and they made it to Naomi's homeland. Now, Ruth was a Moabite. What people didn't understand, Moabites were a Muslim tribe. And Ruth was a Moabite. And they believed in, different gods. It is true facts. Now, the Bible does describe that Ruth followed Naomi and committed to getting her back to her homeland. And it doesn't say that Ruth left Naomi's side. She continued to stay at Ruth's side, going to work in the field. Now, the field was owned by a kinsman, meaning a rich man, meaning a man with wealth and money. Okay? Meaning that he was filled with riches. Okay? He was a kinsman. And in the Bible, it describes that Naomi did not go up to Ruth. Did not go up to Ruth and tell her that she would have to work. Naomi was old. She was elderly. So Ruth decided to go to work in the field. All right. Now we're talking about a young lady here now. A young lady who's probably very beautiful, and God knows that she's qualified to be a servant, a housewife. You know, just not to be out in the field working. Okay. Now this is not some slavery stuff, so don't get it twisted. Okay. So while we're seeing that Ruth is working in the field. Now, who field that she's working in is Boaz field. She became a worker in his field. And Boaz took a stroll one day and took a notice of her and asked, who is that woman? And they told her that is the Moabite from another country that's Naomi's daughter-in-law, who is no longer married. Okay? So they're describing this woman to Boaz. And it describes that Boaz took a liking to her because of her youth, her beauty. Okay? You know? Wasn't talking about her body size. It was talking about her beauty. He could see the humbleness in her. He could see the respect for herself. Okay? And so he started taking liking to her. And he quote saying this: if the next of kin doesn't want you, I'll take you. See, he had respect. Most women choose their mates off of this. They choose off of this. Never choosing off of the respect that comes out of the mouth. Never choosing what the mouth speaks about you. See, Boaz spoke beautiful things about Ruth. Never called her off her name. Never called her a slut. Never called her a whore or all stuff like that. He always had respect for her. And that's one thing about Boaz. See, women pick I'm saying not all women, some women pick men based off of cars, money, the image, the clothes that he wears, how he makes his money. Never understanding that when he speaks words out of his mouth was never respecting you. He never respects. See, when you're in a relationship, it's like looking at the Bible. You know how in Genesis, where it says Eve was beguiled by the serpent? Well, that's what most women are going through now. You're being beguiled. You're being deceived by the serpent again. Because the serpent was what? Beautiful. It was sparkling. It was something that was shiny. It was something beautiful to her. And he tricked her. So you're looking at the image of mankind, and you're determining that is what of God. That is not of God. That is not of Boaz, and that's not the story of a true man that's going to respect you. Not saying that he can't respect you. It's just you're looking at the wrong things. Okay, ladies? Now, man, here's the thing about you. The things about you is that you're becoming the snakes in the gardens. You're looking the part, but here it is, you're spitting out the bowels of Satan. You're speaking poison to the people. One minute you're telling her that she's beautiful, then the next minute you're cussing her out. You're telling her she ain't nothing. You're telling her she ain't crap. You're calling her a bee. You're calling her a hoe. See, you can't do that. Not to a woman. I don't care what color, what race, what Gentile, what Gentile you are. You cannot really diss it. You can't diss your woman like that. See, you really call her a bee, a bitch. Do you know what the word bitch really means? In the time, witchcraft was called a lot of things. It was called confusions. It was called deceptions. It was called trickery to your mind. Okay? So in the time being, now you're seeing witchcraft being full effect in this generation. Because most women now, how you doing about that? Most women now are being comfortable being called the bitch. Okay? If you take the B off it, put a W, and put the I and the T and the C and the H, you have witch. That's what they're calling you. A witch ain't nothing but someone that's trickery in the mindset, someone who casts spells, someone who delusions your mind and control man. Why would you be comfortable being called a witch? No matter how you look at a witch is never a good thing. Not in the Bible. They're trickery. They're delusional. They're people who call people to be, to be beguiled, be fooled, putting spells on someone to make them fall at their bend and their will. So when a man say that's my bitch, you're not calling her a female dog. That's what the world tell you that. But in reality, you're calling her your witch. She's your trickery. She's your deceptions. She's your everything that you want her to be because she put a spell on you. You don't have to trust my word. You could go study it. If you really want to study, you study these words yourself, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot teach you something that I cannot tell you if it wasn't true. These are real documents. These are proven documents, ladies and gentlemen. These are things that God will show you. And if you're a true believer, you're looking for a man of Boaz, and you're looking for a good relationship, you have to understand that you cannot say these words and ask God to present you with someone's relationship-wise. When you're calling a woman a bitch, you're calling her a witch, and she's not your witch. Because anybody that's a witch will have this discernment of spells to control your mindset, to cast spells upon you and bend at their will. And guys, we have to stop being the snake in the garden, because a snake in the garden only deceives the woman and trick her to fall to Satan. So, in the closing, Minister Howard just wanted to tell you some facts, some revelation that God was sending me. And I hope that you like it. If you do, subscribe. If you don't, I'm sorry. That's the truth. Amen.